My bias against disabilities. The world worries about disability more than disabled people do, by Warwick Davis. Having a disability shouldn't make a difference, but it does. I used to believe that I was not biased against disabled people, but after taking this test, I have realized that I am. Bias is defined as a prejudice in favor of or against one thing, person, or group compared with another, usually in a way considered to be unfair. Most of the things we read, hear, or see are biased. The media is a very good example of this. News sources, cultures, religions, education, people, books, etc. All of these are biased. I am biased against disabled people. I have a moderate automatic preference for able persons compared to disabled persons. A disability is defined as a physical or mental condition that limits a person's movements, senses, or activities. Examples of disabilities include Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, dyslexia, hearing impaired, deaf, blind, and other specific physical disabilities. I found out about my bias by taking a test that was created by psychologists at Harvard, the University of Virginia, and the University of Washington. This test was called the AITs, or the Implicit Association Test, to discover hidden biases. The test goes exactly like shown in the pictures, and I know that you have taken it before, so I'm not going to explain how it is. Once I found out I had this bias, I thought about why I might have gotten it and came up with one possible reason. My mother had a disability. This bias has developed because 2 years ago, my mother fell and broke both of her Achilles tendons. The second it happened, she had to go into surgery, and when she came out, they told her she wouldn't be able to walk for 5 months. This meant that my family would have to care for her 24/7. Although we did this with love, it brought a lot of stress to us all. Because of this, I started hating disabilities because it ruined my mom's life. She had to learn how to walk from all over again, and still to this day, she can't jump or run. This might have triggered my bias. Some consequences of having this bias are that if you act on it, you are said to discriminate and disrespect. Also, since you don't approach a disabled person, you'll never get to know them and you might miss out on meeting an amazing person. I can ensure that this bias doesn't negatively affect my relationship with others in many ways. If I am in a crowd of people, I would approach a disabled person faster than a disabled person. This is because I am scared of saying the wrong thing or offending them in some way. To make sure that this bias does not negatively affect my relationship with others, I can try and approach them and not judge them just because of how they look or what disability they have. Since one of the main reasons that I don't approach people with disabilities as quick is that I'm scared of saying the wrong thing. I can just keep comments that I think might hurt them to myself, or avoid talking about their disabilities altogether, because they probably get asked about it all the time, and I can imagine that it gets very annoying. I'm not comparing myself to people that have worse scenarios of disabilities, but people always ask me how I lost my thumb and if I can still use it, and I know that it is very annoying. Many people are biased against people that have disabilities. It's just never talked about. Hitler, on the other hand, was very open about his bias. He publicly talked about it and even acted on it. If you had a disability, you would be recruited and sent to the concentration camps during the Holocaust, for example. You were born to be real, not to be perfect. Bye, Ms. G. I hope that you liked my presentation.